Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Island of Insight. So the last episode was pretty rough because we did all these music boxes, which I can't even show you the correct solution here because I exited out of the game and it just doesn't save the solutions. But yeah, I'm pretty tone deaf, so listening to these music songs and then trying to place the black tiles in the right place to make it work was kind of a nightmare, and really all I ended up doing for the last 3 puzzles in this area, which is now 100% complete, is cheating by using foresight, which, okay. And that's pretty much all I want to say about that. Yeah. The good news is there's a decent chance that there isn't that many more there aren't that many more music puzzles in the entire game. Yeah, I would generally make an assumption there that you're going to see it fill in. We'll probably run into just a small number. Am I about to fall off the ledge here? Well, there's not really a lot of room here if that was going to line up to something. My assumption is that there's probably 2 or 3 of these all in the same area, and that this is all going to be about getting it right and eliminating the sky drops that are unnecessary. With those out of the picture, I suspect. Well, you had to get on a different angle for that color to lock in. Yeah. You can really see how the chromatic system here is going to make that super easy. But it does set you up for some level of failure if there just happens to not be any sky drops in the area if you clear out the whole area. Whoops. I didn't think I was going to fall down that much. Okay, don't make this pattern, so don't do that. Connect all dark cells, so do that. And that. There's no way. That's not going to be the case. Probably would make sense to do this, but we have to connect all light cells, so it actually has to work that way, which I could probably just make an assumption here and see how that goes. That one, nope, that one, and that one, and then do that, and that, and that, nope. It's still very much as a case where you should probably just wander around and do things. Although there's less of a reason to do that. It's just that there would be a level of interest I think I screwed up there. If we keep going around in circles here, will we ever line up? Everything. I guess in a lot of ways what we're doing here is we're looking towards the sky to clear out the sky drops first. And then that will probably end up looking towards the ground a lot more often on the way back. I've also realized that you can right click to zoom in on these, so I should right click to zoom in on them. The entirety of the center here is noticeably missing land. Where did the ring go? I feel like it might be just directly above my head. So it seems like I'd have to be on that platform. But the real move still is very much to do the enclaves first. Although armory rings, whatever they're called, are part of the luminous quest I'm doing right now. Of course, I could go back to areas I already know of to find infinite rings if necessary. There's a invisible ring. Not gonna bother to try and get it, though. For a second there, I thought that sound effect meant that there was something near me. There is a total lack of life playing this in single player mode. That is one thing I guess I could grant it being an MMO might add as an element. That just having other people walk around could give a different feeling, but I don't inherently think it would be a better feeling, because most puzzle games have you in a empty world, or mostly empty world. It's not particularly uncommon. Myst is very much in that situation. The Witness is totally in that situation. There's definitely something about liking to solve puzzles that most puzzle solvers are doing it most of the time alone in their own mind, thinking they're not group puzzling. Jigsaw puzzlers might be a small exception there, as far as people who do sometimes work together in groups. Where's the one I'm missing? There could be animals, certainly. It would be a weird twist, certainly, if there were animals like rabbits or something that you would hunt and kill for hints to puzzles. That would be an odd comparison that you would only do in an Unreal Engine game, because you already have that level of programming existing. was more difficult than it really should have been. Certainly would add a weird level of violence. Okay. So to open this, we have to solve this Tower of Insight first, which I assume means we are potentially unlocking one of the 2 remaining puzzles, or at the very least, we are introducing a unique enough concept. Quest for perfection. Okay. Letters must be sorted into one type per area. So all the A's must be connected. And 3 strikes and you're out. And we want to make no 4s. And this one could touch anything. So we know those 2 are right. We know that is right, and that is right. That then means this has to be right to get to that point. But then we know we can't make a 4th, so it's got to go that way. And it's got to go that way. We know it can't go 4. So unless it comes this way and this way. We can't go 4 here either. So we kind of know that has to be the truth, too. And it would be very silly not to go down this way. Yeah, there's no way you can avoid that. Which we can't have a 4 in a row. So then we've got to do that. So then the thought here is going to be just kind of around how can we best do this and not end up with 3 whites in a row. Well, it has to kind of go this way, unless it was going to go this way and this way. And then 1, 2, 3, 4 would be, so it's got to go here. Interesting. So 1 strike and we're already messed up. I wonder if there is another move. To consider here now. Or if I'd get another chance. Yeah, I guess I just don't know what. See, my thought here would be something like this. Apparently, all of those are correct. Weirdly. And then need that, so you're going to have to go here. And honestly, I think that is that. All dark regions have one area, so that is going to be pretty easy. See, now this is the thing that's getting me about this. There, I've just failed. And so apparently you just have to start over. And starting over is just a whole nother thing. Okay. So let's leave the quest for perfection until another time. I'm noticing this game is getting frame rating. I did just put a new hard drive in my computer, which should only make it run faster, but yeah, I don't know if I didn't dust things wrong or knock things around, but yeah, kind of felt like I may have made it worse just by dusting it. Okay. Connect all dark cells, connect all light cells. Okay, how will we connect all dark cells and light cells in this cross section? There would have to be a way you would go all the way around. Connect all dark cells, connect all light cells. Yeah. I just kind of want to solve this quickly, so I'm willing to potentially make a mistake here. Okay. One more of these. And I guess I was totally wrong, because this is not really introducing any super interesting new concept. Perhaps it is just a concept they wanted to make sure you had knowledge of. I assume these pillars of insight at some point might have some real... Now this is funny, this says negative 1,432 as far as the number of shards I have. I suspect the game has glitched here, because if that was the case... No title equipped. What titles could we equip? Oh yeah, you can equip all kinds of different titles. More MMO nonsense. Just loaded into the game, and the game is glitched. And so, I'm gonna have to get a lot of sparks, and waste sparks, unfairly, just to get back to zero. So yeah, we're seeing a little stuttering here and there that I would blame on the game. We're seeing obvious glitches in the math. We're seeing some big mistakes in design, such as not having subtitle support, making it impossible for people with hearing impairment to do these sound puzzles. And we're seeing kind of a dumb concept design of having 10,000 puzzles plus in the first place. I mean, that really is just way too many. You could have easily had 1,000 puzzles and then 5 years of content in which you added 2,000 more puzzles over the course of each year, if that's what you wanted to do. You don't want to really have players burn out, particularly if you're trying to make this a co-op MMO game. And so burning out by too many puzzles is just as big of danger as burning out by completing the game too early. Why is this happening to me? This is new to the ephemeral. Some of the pneuma are more whole than others, but you do not have to stay like this forever. I can help you. Will you come with me? I'll do anything. Forgetting everything is no different from death. Very well. I will give substance to your form, but you must choose a vessel to house your spark within. So, yeah. One would assume that this is basically the same puzzle. Connect the lights to the darks. Don't make anything that looks like that pattern. Okay. We have to connect all the darks together. So weirdly, we have to connect all the lights together. How you do that when you have this narrow crossway? I guess you do that. Okay. So inherently that means we have to go at least to that spot. And we can do that, 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 and then what? So this has to be dark here, which means this has to be light, which means that has to be light. Okay. This cliff and void feels like it's probably not going to be too big of a puzzle. Connect all the dark cells, and then connect all the light cells. We have no idea where this is going to end up going. So we'll just keep chasing it. Meanwhile, we got it. Search the environment for this puzzle. Okay. What do we see? Oh, well, they're gonna make that fairly easy, aren't they? Wonder if there's something more to that puzzle that we need to go down and look at it. So we see a white and then a black and then two blacks and two whites. So we'll have to see the orientation there. White and a black, and then two blacks and then two whites, and then a white. Is that right? Okay. One assumes that is correct. Then we must connect all the dark cells. We must connect all the white cells. So there's a little bit more to the puzzle. Cube there. Hidden cube there. Just have learned at this point that it definitely is worth it to keep an eye. There's a shininess here. It seems like that's something. Yeah. There's a shininess there also. Yeah, it's definitely worth it to keep an eye on areas. Keep an eye on the underside of areas in particular. And listen. Definitely listen. Definitely hear an invisible cube. Is that enough of an angle? Find it? Or do you have to jump? Yeah, you actually have to jump. Still hearing invisible cubes. It's a lot of them next to each other, by the sounds of it. This might be a case where I need to crouch down. Yep. I changed the settings so that the crouch is now a toggle. There's yet another cube over here somewhere. I don't think it's way up on the side of the cliff. We're definitely getting into a whole new system here, where there's just a lot more going on here. than what you would really expect in one location. There is something here, but I don't know how to see it. Am I chasing shadows? I don't think so. Maybe this is a much bigger mystery that we need to solve later. So I would half expect, for as much as I've just found, that there's very little on the edges of this world, and that is a significant part of the whole map. May get flung up in the air and have to look downward. Okay, connect all the darks, connect all the whites. Okay. So whatever this is going to be, is going to cut that off, so that has to be white to begin with. Then if I was to make some assumptions here, that go that way. These are definitely puzzles that I would prefer to just work out instead of trying to get a perfect bonus. We have gotten some sparks, but somehow we're in the negative. The only thing I could think is possibly because I took a rare luminous quest earlier. The game glitched and decided I wasn't supposed to have been awarded that rare luminous quest. That's the only thing I can think of. Yeah, it seems like you're going to be looking at it from a very low perspective under the island. These hidden cubes are super easy. So this is a nice balance, I guess, to the music area that was definitely not easy for me. Of course, this is still an audio thing, so if I actually had hearing impairment and could not hear at all, I would still be screwed trying to find the hidden cubes. And yeah, that's going to be a factor, certainly, to consider. So you just cannot play this game if you have severe hearing impairments at all, because you are going to inevitably have too many hidden cubes playing a role. I feel like this goes all the way back this way and here. Yep. That was a solution, if not the solution. Again, I would slightly complain on the fact that where'd it go? This is gonna be more tough. Yeah, I would slightly complain on the fact that we have to connect all darks. So unless we were gonna do something like this, and then do something like this, it just isn't going to really work. I don't think. Wow, I'm surprised I was able to figure that out. Yeah, I wish the invisible cubes were something different though. Okay. So inherently that blocks that off. It is, I guess, just this pattern that you will just keep going back and forth between. What would be very helpful is if the camera just kind of kept your eyes on the wandering orbs. No. They're not actually particularly difficult wandering orbs. This whole enclave feels refreshingly easy. To the point where I kind of wonder if this might be filler content or if there might be a deeper secret. Like, inherently, there is that possibility always that there could be a lot of different secrets. There could be a lot of, let's see. So we're still trying to connect everything. And doesn't that inherently mean gotta get the whites up here? Just gonna keep going in patterns here until we can find something that we can change. these hidden cubes remind me a lot of the like 300 feathers that you had to collect or could collect in Assassin's Creed 2. Interesting. 1, 2, 3. Let's just assume that that is correct. Okay. So we have to connect everything. Just want to keep playing into this. So where is the disconnect going to happen here? Yeah, it definitely seems like you've got to curve the darks all the way this way. Which then definitely seems like you've got to figure out a way to connect all of those. Just got a lot going on here. We kind of know some things here too. These two can't be the same color. Because it kind of has to connect like that. You should just use some foresights here. Try and figure out what we're doing wrong. That took a lot more time than it probably should have. I got turned around. I hear a cube. Cannot find it. It's gonna be hidden in little nooks and crevices. They are getting sneakier with the placement of these cubes. It definitely feels like hidden cubes should just always be a thing. That every single enclave, every single location, there should be a significant amount of them available. But there's a weird stopping and starting that's happening here where you get into a lot of enclaves and there just aren't hidden cubes, and instead you have hidden arches, which are about the same but slightly different. It definitely feels like there's just a lot of stuff that's gonna happen here. I wasn't gonna get so lucky, was I? The problem I have with this, though, that we're finding all these hidden cubes, is that they're not really giving you anything. They're not building up a number of hints. Whereas it kind of feels like the currency, the sparks, which are currently glitched, and that is super annoying. They should be directly usable towards hints and foresights, but it really hasn't been working that way, so I don't actually believe it that's what's supposed to be going on. Okay. So almost certainly it's just something along that line. Okay. How do we do this? So what's the way in to get to these white ones? definitely I'm just going really quiet while solving these puzzles. Need one more wandering orb and one more light motif. And then there's just kind of a massive amount of extra stuff. So inherently, I guess if I wanted this to work out, okay, how are we supposed to do that? Gotta connect everything. Which does kind of imply something like that. We just now gotta figure out how to connect all the dark cells also. Getting that feeling. I'm starting to get that feeling, certainly, of just the overall exhaustiveness of having so many puzzles. I want like a big act changing event to happen. Some better written dialogue, just longer dialogue in general. Something that says, congratulations, you've made some actual progress and you aren't still in Act 1. Mirror blisses are about the only thing that really do signify any progress. You have this whole visual theme of the, I would assume, Japanese pagodas. Or Chinese pagodas. So, tell me a made-up story of a Asian dynasty that lived in this land and built these buildings. Tell me that they had some history or something interesting. Even if you admit in the later parts that it is just something made up to keep people entertained. Okay. Okay. Inherently, these puzzles can't be much of anything, too. There's just too many of them. So none of them are going to stand out as special. much of the light motifs I managed to miss too. Just more running around. Puzzle games are often like this, where your first pass through any area might as well be fairly willy-nilly, and trying to be obsessive and trying to do everything. It's just not going to really work because you're not going to have all the upgrades or skills or just elements. We need to follow some more wandering echoes. One more wandering echo. Yeah, the only thing I kind of suspect we may run into whoops. I don't think I'm supposed to be down here. Or do I think there's a way back up? So let's just fall. Yep. There's even little hidden cubes right at this first area. So this does feel like a weird area just because I have every thought that you're going to do the last wandering echo here, and then there's still just going to be a massive amount of puzzles, or hidden cubes at least. Okay, so to connect all the light ones in kind of a weird way would be to do that. That has to be dark, which means either that or that has to be dark. That has to be light. That has to be dark. And that has to be dark. That has to be light. That has to be light. Probably has to be dark. Okay. Two ways up this path is an interesting design. Mostly, I imagine, designed specifically. And we're seeing some frame rate, some low frame rate, frame stutter, whatever you want to call it. Geez, I would have thought there would have been at least one light motif. There's a light motif here. Really does, though, feel like you're how am I supposed to line this one up? This one feels weird. Now that's a heck of a motif there. Down there. And yeah, I don't see anything else, so I'm generally gonna assume that that was it. It would be nice if there was 2 or 3 ways to get up to certain spots of importance in most locations in this world. Definitely, I would have to throw the criticism that this feels like this is a Unreal Engine world that has a medium amount of polish and development to it, whereas if they had really worked on it, you probably would have been able to not have floating islands, even though the floating islands can be helpful in times, but also not have how can we get through this spot? It seems pretty good. If I put a black one here, then I have to connect it somewhere else. There is a alternate thought here, certainly, where you could have made a museum full of grid puzzles instead of an island, where the museum would have been just a little bit smaller and more compact. Where did it go? There we go. And since the witness had already been on an island, just making an even bigger island is definitely just repeating the same idea. The Oriole. In this realm, I am called the Oriole. We have met before. New to the everlasting. This is something I do not. There is something I do not understand. This is the very first moment of my life. If I have never seen a sky before, how do I know its name? Though you awoke with knowledge, language, and a sense of self, you lack the ability to connect your own experience across time. I've given you new form, your new form and means to store memories. I do not remember that. It is the very last thing you will not remember. So new to the everlasting apparently can now remember things. If the Oriole is to be believed, which, unlike the first Myst game in particular, we haven't been given an antagonist or any other characters really at all that would make an argument against the Oriole. So the worst case scenario, I would have to just come to my own decision that this whole world is some kind of prison simulation of some sort, or prison world, maybe not a simulation, keeping you busy with monotonous, repetitive puzzles. actually anywhere close. Wow. That's a lot closer than I thought. So we did the basic challenge, but pillars of insight, logic grids. All things. I have no idea how I would get up there. Okay. Dark light has to go there. Then if we have to connect those, they have to go there. Then one of these has to be at least light. One of those has to be dark. Let's work our way down. One of these needs to be dark, and that would make a lot of sense. Here we have floating rocks, which I guess we already saw floating islands. So if I was to run over here, then I can get over here. Search the environment for this puzzle. Okay. Locked in place, we have white on this side and black on this side. Okay, so then it is 2 white, black, white, 2 black. Then on the outer edges we have white, black, black, white. White, black, 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 white. Is that correct? I don't think it is. No. And then on this side, it is black, white, white, black. White, white, black. Okay. Now, simply use the rules to connect things. And the hope here is we just wouldn't change anything, I guess. Okay. So we've solved everything except for searching the environment again. So it probably would be easier just to use foresight at this point. Black, white, white, black. Yeah. Black, white, white, black. Let's just use a foresight. So yeah, just burn a few foresights just to be done with it easier. Still a lot of cubes. Really, I just want to get rid of the cubes because they're making noise. Distractions. There we go. Tiles remaining 3. This is an undeclared clue. We know that's true. And then, is there any way this could go dark and then around and then somehow connect to this? No, I think the move is that that is still exactly the same. And then your instinct would probably tell you that that is still the same. But it probably isn't. So is there any way a light piece would be here? It really could curve all the way around. Yeah. Is there any way a white piece could be here? Kinda. Because you could have it bump up. Certainly. So what do we know for certain? Yeah, I don't think we know anything for certain. There might be something in the corners. Is there any way that there would be a black that would just go all the way into this corner here? I mean, even that seems doable. Look at this tile. It says, well, my instinct would say that is that, and that is that. Does that mean that is that? Interesting. So why is that the case? Like, why couldn't I have gone down here, looped way around, gone up here, looped way around here, and looped here? I guess I could, but then these still would be white, regardless of what I did otherwise, because the blacks have to be connected. Okay. So yeah, I'm getting I think the general concept now. Okay. We know that then the entire border here has to be white. Which means that has to go there and that has to go there. And then this one we're just supposed to solve. Okay. If this was light, it would almost certainly block it off. Unless we did that. Then if we did that, we could do that. It's weird to have the last puzzle just change what you're going for. Looking for logic grids. Kinda should have seen that coming. Oh, that's a whole nother logic grid. Seriously, how am I supposed to get up there? Guess you do it that way. It almost feels like, environmentally, this is supposed to be the spot where these hidden cubes would have been built. It would kind of make sense. Okay, how is this supposed to work? That needs to be dark, which means that needs to be dark, which means this gets cut off, which means that gets cut off. So all of these need to be dark. All of these need to be dark. That means that needs to be cut off. Felt like we were making so much progress over here with this. Just slowly working my way through all of this. So close. It looks like I'm so close, but actually I might be pretty far away. And honestly, it doesn't feel like there's real penalties for using foresights. Although maybe there are. Maybe I'm losing sparks every time I use a foresight. Even if I was, I kind of don't care about that. So we need to connect these darks. Can't just have them all be light. Still looking for wandering motifs. Wandering echoes and light motifs. Not wandering motifs. There's no such thing. Still hearing a lot of hidden cubes. It does beg an interesting question as far as would it have been easier to simply ignore all the hidden cubes on the first pass through this area. Attempt number 3. Chasing this one. Okay. And where did it go? It went back up there. Go. Looks like there might be something at the top. I'm hearing hidden cubes. Where are you hiding? Hidden cubes. There's one. There's like one in every corner. Now I have to remind myself I can just hold down the space bar to jump up really high. That'll be how I end up getting to the next area, I'm sure. Okay. Architecture in general needs a little bit more. Yeah, if I had played Myst all those years ago and it was just several different ages, several different worlds, with interesting architecture, but there hadn't been backstory and characters talking to you, a choice being presented to you over and over again, working towards a final choice. It's really been, I think, considerably more dull of a game. The thing I would say, too, if you are just going to have a puzzle game with several different architectures, then perhaps it would behoove you to delve much deeper in architecture than most games do, which would require you to not just use pre-made assets. Because, yeah, you can definitely tell the reason why you have Asian pagodas here is because somebody had already made Asian pagodas as models and textures. Yeah. This game already has the feeling of an Asian MMO in that a lot of those companies seem to only be capable of making MMOs, and they seem to legally be only allowed to have more Asian cultural elements. Right, so I'm just going to try and rapidly click the button. Wow. I do think I clicked on it. It's not making any sound, but I'm a little surprised that worked. Here's the last area where we got knocked around. There are some fairly daunting elements in this, and it looks like it is going to have me platform all around these rocks. And yeah, this is dangerously getting close to those asset flip climbing games where it's just random assets going into the sky higher and higher, which I don't know why anybody would want to play that. The original game I think was called Up, and then a whole bunch of clones showed up, and yeah. Wait. I don't understand this at all. Oh, I guess we can't know for certain that this isn't the only white tile. Okay. If you have to connect all the dark cells, connect all the light ones. This may very well just be the same concept over and over again. With 3 tiles, we should know the answer to. These could all be dark, certainly. This could be dark. This also could be light, though, and then this could be dark. This light one is either going to have to come here. So that has to be light. As far as I can tell. No, because you could probably have a dark one here, and then a light one here, and then wrap it all around. Look at this tile. Well, my instinct would say to do that. And do that. And do that. I don't get the pattern here. Okay. Let's view the explanation on this checkerboard lemma. When all light cells are connected and all dark cells are connected, a checkerboard pattern can never be formed. Otherwise, it would be impossible to connect one color without disconnecting the other. You can treat all puzzles with both colors connected as if they have implied forbidden patterns. Interesting. Still not sure I really understand that. Again, a lot of this feels like Sudoku variant concepts. Although your basic Sudoku wouldn't really play with that. Okay, so you can't have a checkerboard pattern, so that if we take that at face value, that means that has to be there. So if we have that, then we can't have a checkerboard pattern here, so that has to be dark. And that means that has to be light. And that has to be light. Okay. So again, we just are going with can't be checkerboard patterns. I guess that will mean something. We're connecting all whites, so we know that goes there. We're connecting all darks, so we know that's going there. Connecting all darks, so we know that's going at least there. And then that gets back to the core concept of checkerboard patterns not being allowed. It's 4 more that we know for certain, apparently. So one of these that I've done is wrong. My logic failed me somewhere. Right there. That's where I probably would have guessed that it failed me too. Now, just because the checkerboard pattern's not allowed doesn't mean this couldn't just be full white here, full white here. And this wouldn't make a checkerboard pattern. This wouldn't make a checkerboard pattern. Really, it should just be called checked pattern, but people don't use that phrase anymore. That's an old... So apparently this is it. And I guess that does make sense, because that is the only way to get out. Okay. We have one more wandering echo and 2 light motifs at minimum we need to do. And then I think we probably have a really low chance of So now in this case, doesn't it feel more like you should be flying through rings in this setup instead of chasing a wandering orb? Which probably the entirety of that chase. Okay, I do see something over in that corner, so. Just a ton of extra logic grids. I don't know if I can actually get up that high in this spot. I think I'm... Oh, wait a minute. Do I need to get... And I can just shoot myself up, can't I? Definitely sounds like there's some hidden cubes. I think there might actually be another wandering orb. We are up to level 27. Unfortunately, levels really don't mean anything. Really, it's just bragging rights, it feels like. Getting up to that area seems to really only have led towards that one hidden cube. There's a lot of platforms here though. Platforms. Okay, I can just barely hear the hidden cube. That's going to be a tough one to find again. So it really would be wiser to go ahead and grab it. Might be a rare occasion where it would be better to be in first-person perspective. So I guess in that rare case it was helpful. Still does look like there's a light motif. You have to look from, I think, over there. I really, at this point, should only try to find light motifs. Stay on the ground, walk around, look at walls. If I happen to find a grid puzzle, fine. If I happen to find an orb chase puzzle, maybe skip it. If I happen to walk past a hidden cube, I should grab it, just because I think there is a real danger here of there being a lot of those. This seems like this might be a fairly easy sequence, although you never really know. Yeah, you never really know just how many of them, how many times you're gonna have to touch it. One of the things about using a WASD keyboard layout here is because my fingers are not particularly familiar with that, strafing comes very much as a much more awkward experience than it would be with a controller. Of course, I always still could just launch Joy to Key. Nothing really is stopping me from doing that. Let's see. Here. Invisible cube. I see a light motif. Wow, that part of the motif is literally in the tree. Well, I guess that tells us that in that case, the tree leaves are permanent and they would render even on the lowest graphics card. Every time I play a relatively new game, instead of sticking to my usual fodder of playing pretty old games, I am once again shoved into the reality that even a 2080 graphics card, while very good for playing most games and old games, is going to be pushed to high limits on a game like this, which is definitely rendering a lot more textures and foliage than it probably needs to, in all honesty. It does seem like a fairly wasteful game visually when it could be a much more tight visual aesthetic where you would know where the important things are. That's one of the things that Jonathan Blow, I believe, talked about in developing The Witness, is that there was a point in which the Witness had a lot more elements, a lot more textures, a lot more 3D models, and he intentionally took it out so that when you are in an area and you saw something, you would know it's important. This game does not follow that same thought pattern, and instead is very much allowing little rocks and decorations to feel like they might be involved in a puzzle. And you can't open doors. It would be intriguing, certainly, if there was a game that walked past a bunch of doors to only realize later that you can, or you would eventually open them. But you really couldn't do that either, because you would train the player too early in the game that doors are just things to be ignored, as they often are in video games. And so by 4 or 5 hours into gameplay, most players wouldn't even try to open a door. Still wishing for better 3D audio in this game too. And they are getting way too sneaky with all of this. We've done 109 puzzles. We need one more leitmotif. My assumption here is it's probably close to 120, 125 puzzles. Could be 115. There's a lot of hidden cubes in the mix of these trees. That's definitely an area where you would potentially just walk by. See a lot of players just walking directly past all the trees. The cliff and the void. These enclaves definitely kind of a different thing compared to, say, a level in a Mario game, though. Which you're not too far away from making a game like that in this. There could have been in like Mario Odyssey, I guess is the modern reference. I would use Mario 64 as an older reference, but yeah, there could have been a certain number of stars. There could have been a hint in the name of each star to collect, and each area could have been its own separated area out. So perhaps sometimes with different instances, which is exactly what you have in Mario 64. Of course, you don't make an MMO game that way. That would certainly help keep players in line and on track if you had names for each puzzle to be found. Of course, you're not going to also be able to do that if you're making 10,000 puzzles. Okay, so finally we finished the secondary challenge, or the first challenge actually, the goals over the bonus. And that tells me that there are 25 still available. So I suspect this is just going to be a lot of walking around in silence, listening. That'd be my guess as to how this is going to play out. Where I would assume it's at least 23 of these are hidden cubes. There might be one chase. One of the reasons why these games feel frame stuttery, I'd also say, is because when you're using mouse and keyboard, the mouse is always going to have that kind of less than smooth experience. Okay. This I don't think we've done yet. I also need to go back up higher. Is there a way to get back up higher? Well, there's always a way to get back up higher, isn't there? Let's see. I wish there was a better way to only jump up a little bit. Music's playing. That is, I think, about the maximum of what I can say about the music. Is it's playing, it's not annoying. That is fairly successful for a video game that is going to take up this much of your time playing it. Somewhere here is an invisible cube. Where? Here. Now it seems fairly quiet in this area, so I may have done pretty much everything. And I probably did save myself a decent amount of frustration by collecting a lot of this early, instead of just rushing to do the specific goals or the specific bonus. I still don't like when you bump into these, they sometimes make sounds. It's a little unnecessary. Again, that gets back to the general idea of less can be more in doing a puzzle game in particular. I want to walk near the trees while also keeping an eye on all of that. Trying to listen, see if there's any hidden things. Although I'm probably listening so intently right now that if I was to just walk next to a puzzle cube, I might ignore it completely. Yeah. There is part of a visual puzzle that is down there. So I'm not 100% sure how you would see it. Wow. You had to be standing just on this rock and pretty much risk death. My hope there is that is everything. But I don't know. There's a lot of rocks here. It kind of feels like they're intentionally teasing that you're going to have to jump on many of those rocks. And boy, was I wrong about being concerned about a 5-minute recharge on the tall jumps. 5 minutes is basically no wait at all. For as often as you're going to actually need to do a tall jump. 21 puzzles remaining. I have a certain thought that there's maybe not any more hidden in this area. Would have to be fairly lucky for that to be true. Okay. See another motif. Here it is. 20. Which way did I go? Another one down. The whole world gets just oddly quiet. Once you've found a lot of these hidden cubes. We are at -78 as far as our points go. But yeah, the thing I was going to point out here is there is a final upgrade here in what is this? Hidden cubes. So if I did 1200 for this, 500 for this, and then 1500 for that, it would make finding hidden cubes easier. So there is an argument certainly to skipping this area. Yeah. Also, dual luminous quests for 6,000 is probably worth it to get early. Again, just kind of have to go quiet. See if we hear anything while seeing if we see anything. We may need to just sweep areas back and forth to listen for any hidden cube sounds. That's only going to get me so far though. We still have 16 hidden cubes to find, and it's a decent chance that they are going to be in more awkward locations. Is that? No, that's not part of a visual puzzle. So yeah, if we're not walking anywhere close to where the hidden cube would be, we still wouldn't hear it. We are constantly going on the high road. Okay, don't make any cubes. Connect all the blacks, connect all the whites. Apparently, I guess that means that has to go that way. And then, let's see. Let's just make a little pattern here. That wasn't too much. I do think we probably haven't spent quite enough time over here on these rocks. This is again going to just revitalize the thought though that the all-seeing monolith probably needs to point you to not even hearing the waterfalls. The audio is glitched again. Music is playing, sound effects are not. If the all-seeing monolith does point you towards other, you have to connect everything, so this probably is a linchpin. If we did all of that, then we did that. We did that. That's just really doing the same concept with just different shapes. Where's it hiding? A lot of rock faces here. 11. Still a really high number. It's not like there's a ton of square footage here. I pretty much have to assume that area is empty now. Is there any other rocks on ledges to investigate? Or possibly to look for visual patterns. Definitely feels like the remaining 11 probably hidden cubes could just be very well hidden. And this would be a great example of a place where you wouldn't want to just run. If you move fast, you're gonna move right past it. We already solved that one. Here, another hidden cube. Where is it hiding this time? Really is too much. You could have taken easily half of these hidden cubes and put them somewhere else. And one way to certainly accomplish that would have been to take this world and make a copy of it, put it in a different place, or make a different instance of it and put it in a different place. Day-night version of this world could have happened. But yeah. There is definitely some opportunities you could open up to yourself if you decide to make a night version of this game. It would be more difficult to find things, so hidden objects, hidden cubes, and a night version would be very difficult, but could also have some bright, colorful elements too. We are missing 8 things. 8 puzzles. Can we find them. I hear one. Must be on the next level. I hear one there. Okay, so I should search in other places like that. And I should still listen. So getting very sneaky. Found it. How am I going to hit it? There we go. 6 hidden cubes. One assumes. Remaining now. Yeah, it's getting quieter. Kind of fly around and listen and see if maybe we can get close enough. At the very least, this will tell us if there's any secret edge spots. We need more investigating. Yeah, the flying didn't seem to reveal anything. Not 100% surprised. Although I should be surprised, frankly, wherever I find these last 6 puzzles. It's quite kind of a high number. Walk around the statues just to make sure that there isn't anything there. There's a puzzle. So almost certainly this is the area where we are looking for. Okay. If we must connect things, then we know at least that much is true. And then we don't want to make a 4x4. So it kind of feels like that much would be true. And we don't want to make a 4x4. So that feels like that's true. How do we get that to connect, though? If that's going to be the case. There we go. One of the things that's kind of funny about this game is that at the beginning it says don't play when you are tired. For seizure warnings, they're kind of standard boilerplate seizure warning text is at the front of this game. But I guess technically I am violating their suggestion by playing this game tired. But in reality, there's no way I'm not going to get tired with these super long episode lengths, which are the things that only kind of make sense to me. It'd be crazy to try and make 30-minute episodes. Also, this game certainly is draining. I just putting a lot of mental effort. Seriously, there's no cube there? Kind of don't know where else to look. I feel like I've been pretty much everywhere. It would feel very strange. Let's see, maybe if we take a look at the map, we would learn something different. This probably is not connected to that. And then this area over here, we definitely know it's not connected to that. I was wondering if maybe there's some interior rock walls here in this void. Maybe I'm supposed to work my way down. Seeing anything like that. Did I possibly just walk past 5 hidden cubes in this little ravine? This weirdly does have a cube-like shape in its flowers and foliage, but if that's supposed to do something, I'm not going to be able to trigger it until I know it's supposed to do something. If that's supposed to be like a mystery. ledges here. The game would probably be nicer if it didn't have little ledges. There's one. So this probably is where we should go and investigate more. Let's find as many flat platforms as possible that might have a cube on it. The thing here, one assumes though, is that there's a cube over there. Three. So yeah, you're gonna have to get really good, really good at platforming into different places, and probably seeing where the cubes are. So that does make me suspect that they're probably, if I was to guess, that did not fling me up high like I'd want it to. I do barely hear one. Okay. If I barely hear one, there it is. Can I get close enough? These jumps are still kind of messy. Two remaining. This really is going to come more into eyes and ears than just ears. I need to be able to see. Why is that tree swinging back and forth? That's weird. Weird to have your trees swinging in the breeze. Like, yes, that happens in reality, but in a puzzle game, you would think it would be stagnant. It would just save on programming at the very least to do it that way. So I'm trying to jump onto every platform and then listen to see if there was I kind of suspect there isn't one left up here. Because if I was going to be particularly thorough, it probably would be at the higher rocks, not the middle round rocks. Let's check out this tree. Why is this tree swinging back and forth? Why would you program it to do that? It probably didn't. In reality, I would guess that the asset was just purchased and already had an animation attached to it, which does give life to a otherwise dead world. It also distracted me, certainly, and caused some level of perhaps confusion. We could stop here, certainly. 2 puzzles is not that many to leave behind. We have one left, and I've found it. Sort of. Found it. There we go. So, with a bit of dumb luck, this enclave is now 100% complete, with 144 puzzles solved, assuming we trust anything this game says. Then we get shot back way over here. I still wouldn't want to do the quest for perfection. All-seeing monolith, can't really do anything with it. So, the next thing would be to travel to the Great Pearl of the Shady Wildwood, is what it says. Is that really what we want to do? Can we not do cascading rays or eye of the needle. Let's see. Eye of the needle. Let's see. We can unlock. Mark it. And then cascading rays. We could also unlock. Wow, that whole icon just disappeared and replaced it with a much larger marker than this marker is. We still don't have a lot of emerald rings. We have to do reflections in the sky and shady wildwood to unlock these puzzles, so that does tell me that we are going to end up going back to every area. And yeah, there's more of an Indian architecture, I would say, in shady wildwood. Haven't done these puzzles in a while. Let's see. Not particularly difficult one. It's funny that these are like waterish in their design. Guess where you're going over here. So I saw a hidden cube. Yeah. Doesn't seem like this pagoda here really is gonna be a mandatory location to visit. Wonder if the rings are showing up because I have a luminous quest to do them. Probably not. Still missing one. In other games, if you're going to add gliding abilities in a platformer, you might also add like a parachute ability that sends you straight down. And you probably would give that parachute ability first, and then give a gliding ability later. Again, I am being pointed in a different direction. Just right on that edge. My garden is inhabited by the Numa, but other beings existed in worlds beyond your reach. Creatures of feather and fin, tail and hand. Words and philosophies did not move these creatures. It is the way of the universe that not all should be like us. Okay. Still comes off very much just like mostly nonsense. Well, not nonsense per se, but just kind of unimpactful statements. Like, it's missing a core element. I'm leaning in the chair, that's why I sound so weird this whole time. Yeah. Yep. That alone should be evidence that I should take a break, because I'm leaning and getting out of the direct path of my microphone. It just seems kind of purposeless, I guess is the best word to say, since I don't believe we're going to ever end up fighting the Oriole or even challenging the Oriole in any way. Everything that's being said is more or less just kind of pointless lore. So yes, we can do Eye of the Needle next time. And we can do the other quest. And I imagine what we will end up doing is just not paying a lot of attention to this area. Same is kind of true for this area. We didn't really do anything. And most of this area we really didn't do anything. Which is fine, because we shall return, or at least there is a thought we will return. There is a small possibility that I'll just say I've had enough by doing all of the Enclave sections, but then the central areas don't feel incredibly different, so I don't really see a reason why you wouldn't want to keep on playing. There's still a ton of lore fragments if that's what we were actually trying to collect. It's taken nearly 3 hours to get the number of sparks back into the positive. And yeah. I wonder if maybe what glitched here is that I got the Sunset Kindle of Dawn. We still have 2 puzzles. Yeah, that I got in that outfit, and then it charged me for the outfit anyways. Yeah. 2 puzzle types. 6 grid rules. Several insights, to say the least. Let's see. I imagine most of these insights either are going to become part of my subconscious as far as I know it or I don't, or I would never really need them anyway, so I wouldn't go and reread the insights. Suppose there is a point where maybe the puzzle would get really, really hard and I would need to reread the insights, but then why not just use the hints, the foresights? For a game called Islands of Insights, it's not really doing too much with the fact that it's islands, and it's really not doing much with the insights either. So yeah, as far as outfits, it seems to me like we still haven't unlocked any new markings. Seems almost like what we're doing is we're unlocking the ability to purchase things. This prismatic may be new. This seems to be new. Still very much have a case where the whole game makes these very weird looking characters, though. And it doesn't seem like we've gotten a single new piece of clothing. Doesn't feel like we've really gotten a new piece of headgear. Do we have even possibly some new gloves? No. So yeah, once again, the whole character creation still feels really dumb, pointless, and creates some very weird looking characters. Yep. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and keep on watching. Thanks.